Greetings, ladies and managers, and welcome to this narration of the web series 3 Fleets, taken from Reddit with the author's approval. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 14, Freedom of Choice. Wex stepped into the sunlight for what felt like the first time in 100 years. He squinted against the glare and reflexively went to hold up his hand. "Easy there, mister." His aide, Johnny, had a hold of his arm and went to raise. The other one leaned heavily on a makeshift cane the doctor had come up with. "Well, Doc said I need to start getting more exercise," Wex said. "Why don't you give me the grand tour?" Johnny helped Wex limp along through the thoroughfare. There were few people out this time of day. Wex asked, "Where is everyone?" Johnny said, "Working, most likely. They're out in their fields or tending to their herds. Nobody comes to town during the day." They walked slowly, making their way down the street. Wex's cane made a solid clump every time it hit the wooden boards on the sidewalk. "Not often. Old Mrs. Turban might make a notion or to visit. Tuesday's market day, so it gets pretty crowded then. Won't you step there?" They stepped over a raised board, and Wex said, "Let's take a break. The general store is just up ahead. We can set a spell there. Doc said I was to make sure that you got out plenty." They stumbled along for another half a block and made it to the store. In front of the general store were 2 hand-carved wooden chairs. Wex flopped down into one and caught his breath. "I never thought just walking down the street would wear me out like that." He could feel his skin starting to get sticky from sweat. "Johnny, you like this place?" "Sure, town's okay. Don't much care for the crowds on the market day, though." "No, I mean this world. You ever think about getting away?" "Away, mister. Earth. We can't go back to Earth. I grew up in stories about how it used to be back there. All those people." Johnny shook his head. "I got too much Jericho in me to go back to Earth." "Lots of people are scared of leaving home," Wex said. "It ain't fear, mister." A Turlic strolled out of the store and nodded at Johnny. "Morning, Mr. Clicks," Johnny said. "Good morning, Johnny. Is this our new visitor?" The Turlic, Mr. Clicks asked. "Oh, yes, sir. Doc says that he needs to get plenty of exercise, so that we're out for walks. Had to take a rest, though." Turlic looked Wex up and down. "Well, you take care of yourself now, Johnny," Mr. Click said without taking his eyes off Wex. "Don't go running around with a bad crowd." "No, sir, Mr. Clicks," Johnny said. The Turlic went in his way. "I suppose they don't much care for me. Lots of people upset about how you killed George." "Not you." "Seems like it was just a terrible misunderstanding. But George is still dead, and I miss him. His people enslaved us. There was no way to know that they hadn't done the same thing here." "How old are you, Johnny?" "I'll be 12 in harvest." "There's no way you're only, wait. You mean 12 in Jericho years, right?" "Yeah. So that's what, about 18 Earth years, more or less." "Sounds about right, mister." "Okay. So you were born here in Jericho, long after they crashed and made it alive here?" "Yes, sir," Johnny said. "You've only ever known Turlic as friends and neighbors. You never saw what they did to us. But we lost somewhere between 4 and 6 billion people to the Turlic slave trade, including the founders of this colony. Most of those people are still out there. We haven't even brought back 500 million people yet. Over 90% of all humans enslaved and stolen from Earth are still gone. Still enslaved. Maybe dead, for all we know. Am I sorry I plugged one good Turlic? That I shot your friend? Yes. But if you put me in that same situation on another planet, I'd squeeze the trigger just the same, just as fast." Johnny looked over Wex's shoulder. Wex turned and saw Major standing over there. "Write the speech, Wex. Did the council come to a decision yet? The meeting was a while ago." "Still debating. I don't think you standing in the middle of the street saying that you'd start shooting Turlic given half the chance is going to help your case, though," the mayor said. "Give me a shuttle, and I'll be out of your hair in no time." "You know that I'm not going to do that. You don't like our privacy, Mr. Wex." "What about him?" Wex asked, looking his thumb back at Johnny. "Don't your kids deserve the chance to decide for themselves? And what happens when Doc dies? Who's going to take care of you then?" "We'll make do, as always," the mayor said. "You'll die. Just another 20 or 30,000 bodies to add to the Turlic spill." "Mr. Wex, you seem to have a real problem letting people make up their own minds," the mayor said. "No. I have a problem helping people commit suicide." "Mister, why are you so sure we'll die?" Johnny asked. "Because that's what will happen. You don't have vaccines, antibiotics, x-rays. Hell, a broken leg could end up killing someone in a place like this. People survive for thousands and thousands of years without any of those things," the mayor said. and they died by the time they were 40. You're going to suffer and die for no reason, Wex said. Then he looked into the mayor's eyes and saw no doubt in there. He looked at Johnny and saw wide-open eyes with no trace of fear. He felt fight drain from him and slumped back in his chair. This is fecked up. 3 days later, Wex was woken by a terrible scream followed by a thunderous boom that nearly shook him out of his bed. He threw on his clothes as quickly as he could and he grabbed his cane. He was still putting on his shirt when he made it outside. The early morning hours were dark, but now quite awake. People were in the streets in their nightclothes. Mothers held crying children, fathers carried clubs. Human and Turdic looked to the skies with fear and wonder. The star was circling back and getting closer. The ship resolved into a human-built shuttle resting upon glowing thrusters. The shuttle landed 200 meters outside of town. Wex hobbled out to meet the shuttle as fast as he could. "Stay back!" Wex shouted at the townsfolk as he pulled through them. The shuttle cracked open, and armored soldiers began pouring out into Jericho's sand. Wex waved his arms to flag them down. "Lower those clubs!" Wex yelled at the men behind him. When he looked back at the shuttle, standing on the landing ramp, he saw Mandy. She ran out to meet him. The humans from Earth and the humans from Jericho met in the open area between the town and the shuttle, both wary of the other. "Stand down! Stand down!" Wex was shouting, himself hoarse, trying to keep the violence from erupting. "You never skip an appointment, do you?" Mandy said, smiling as she reached Wex. "Man, I'm glad to see you." Wex hugged Mandy, startling himself and her. "Crap! Janks!" Wex heard her shout. He looked back and saw a handful of Turdic wandering out of the town. "Ceasefire! Ceasefire! Master Chief, these are friendlies." "No, sir, those are Janks." Wex turned and made his way back towards the town a few meters. He put himself between the Earthlings and the Jerichoans. "Master Chief," he said, "hold your fire." Wex directly in the line of fire between the Navy and the Marine forces and the citizens of Jericho. "Lower your weapon," Jack said so quietly that it nearly was a whisper. The Navy and the Marine forces looked to the Master Chief, who looked at Wex, slowly. So slowly that Wex thought he may have been imagining at first. The gun swung from the Turdic down to the dust. Wex turned and took the Turdic from Jericho. "You're safe." For the first time in his life, he saw what fear looked like on a Turdic's face. "What's going on?" "Nothing," Wex said. "The mayor has joined the group by then." "Nothing at all. Turns out Jericho was just a rumor. The mysterious human colony doesn't exist." "You sure?" Mandy asked. "Yes," Wex said. "Let's get home." Mandy, the troops, and Wex walked back to the new shuttle. The townspeople of Jericho watched them load up. "Oh, wait," he said. He limped back to the cloud and found Johnny. "Thank you for watching out for me," Wex said to Johnny. He slipped a small oblong device into Johnny's hand. "This is the key for my shuttle. If you ever decide that maybe life on the farm isn't all that it's cracked up to be, come find Earth. It's loaded in the autopilot. Ship damn near flies itself." Johnny smiled. "Well, I think that'll come to that, but thanks anyway." Johnny pocketed the key. Mandy reached Wex and helped him back to the shuttle. "We've got to hurry." "Why?" "Everyone's been ordered to somewhere called the Manor," Mandy said. "What do you mean, everyone? And what the hell's the Manor?" "Everyone. First Fleet, Second Fleet, whatever's left of Third Fleet. Everyone," Mandy said, as the shuttle door sealed behind them. The town of Jericho watched as the thrusters lit and a new star was briefly born in the pre-dawn hours. End of chapter. This is a special thank you to the one, the only, the legendary Eric Hino, who has become the only Tier 6 patron. I just want to thank the T5 patrons and channel members. Bob the Dragon, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnolds, Estrella the Dreamer, Try Again 95, Fury Giol, Meridian 117, Alithia, Jordan Bucksball, Angry Marine, Albarden Gusta, and Barkey. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.